afternoon, one and all. Welcome to the Valedictory function of Vigilance Awareness Week 2021. Observance of Vigilance Awareness Week every year during the last week of October under the auspice of Central Vigilance Commission aims to create public awareness and encourage people to fight against corruption. This year, Vigilance Awareness Week is being observed from 26th October to 1st November 2021 with the theme Independent India at 75, Self-Reliance with Integrity. Let us begin today's program by invoking the blessings of God Almighty. May I call on stage Srimati Parvati to render the invocation.
ഹൃദയരാഗതന്ത്രി മീട്ടി സ്നേഹഗീതമേകിയും കർമ്മഭൂമി തളിരിടുന്ന വർണ്ണമേകിയും നമ്മിൽ വാഴുമാദിനാമം ഇന്നു വാഴ്ത്തിടാം. ഞങ്ങൾ പാടുമീ സ്വരങ്ങൾ കീർത്തനങ്ങളാകണേ, ചുവടുവയ്ക്കുമീ പദങ്ങൾ നൃത്തലോലമാകണേ. കുഞ്ഞു വീടിനുൾ തടങ്ങൾ സ്വർഗമായിടേണമേ, അമ്മ നൽകും ഉമ്മ പോലും അമൃതമായിടേണമേ. പൂർണ്ണമീ ചരാചരങ്ങൾ ഗുരുവരങ്ങളാകണേ. ഹൃദയരാഗ തന്ത്രി മീട്ടി സ്നേഹഗീതമേകിയും കർമ്മഭൂമി തളിരിടുന്ന വർണ്ണമേകിയും നമ്മിൽ വാഴുമാദിനാമം ഇന്നു വാഴ്ത്തിടാം.
Thank you, Parvati. May I request Sri Anil Kumar, Senior Head Personal and General Administration, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected Associate Director, VSSC, Dr. Sharat Chandra Sharma sir, distinguished guest of honor of today's function, Shri Preman Dindaj sir, IAS, Chairman, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, respected Associate Director Projects, VSSC, Shri M. Narayanan Namboodiripad sir, respected Chief Controller and Vigilance Officer, VSSC, Dr. Biju Jacob sir, IAS, ladies and gentlemen watching this program through virtual platforms, good afternoon to all. Corruption is defined as dishonest and unethical conduct by a person entrusted with a position of authority, either to obtain benefits to oneself or to some other person. It has not only a negative effect in social dynamics, but also erodes the value systems established in the country. Corruption undermines political development, democracy, economic development, the environment, people health, and much more. Corruption negatively subverts the financial system and weakens the legitimacy of the state. Corruption is anti-poor, anti-development, anti-growth, and anti-investment. E-governance and systematic changes in procedures, minimal discretion, reduced public interface, technology-based procurement, and automation will go a long way in reducing corruption. The Vigilance Awareness Week is observed every year during the week in which 31st October, the birthday of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, falls. Observance of Vigilance Awareness Week is one of the tools used by the Central Vigilance Commission to bring together all stakeholders to collectively participate in the prevention of and the fight against corruption and to raise public awareness regarding the existence, causes and gravity of the threat posed by corruption. Though punishment and penal actions delivered quickly are effective deterrents to corruption, the spirit behind observance of Vigilance Awareness Week is to sensitize the public against the menace of corruption. In a move towards commemorating 75 years of India's independence and in recognition of this momentous stage in India's journey, the Commission has decided to observe Vigilance Awareness Week 2021 from 26th October to 1st of November 2021 with the theme Independent India at 75, Self-Reliance with Integrity. As a part of Vigilance Awareness Week 2021, many activities were organized in the center to bring awareness, strictly adhering to the extant COVID-19 prevention guidelines at workplace. On 26th of October, the Integrity Pledge was administered to the officers and staff in all entities and projects apart from facilitating e-pledge. Banners and posters were printed and displayed at all prominent locations inside the campus. In order to spread awareness and campaign about compliance under public interest disclosure and protection of informers, posters have been prepared and displayed at prominent locations inside the premises. A circular bringing out the do's and don'ts was notified through intranet for information of all employees. A quiz competition was organized for the employees of VSSC and good number of employees participated in the online quiz competition. An essay writing competition and elocution competition on the topic Vigilance and Anti-Corruption was organized for the students of VSSC Central School. Recorded speech of a distinguished personality is being transmitted today. With this, I will now come to my pleasant duty of welcoming the dignitaries. Our Associate Director R&D, VSSC, Dr. Sharat Chandra Sharma sir, has taken all steps to ensure greater transparency and accountability in the use of government fund. He has provided all administrative approvals and necessary guidance and support for organizing the Vigilance Awareness Week. Sir, we are extremely honored with your presence to preside over today's event. I extend a warm welcome to Associate Director R&D VSSC, Dr. Sharat Chandra Sharma sir, to this function. Guest of honor of today's event, Sri Preman Dhanraj, sir, IA and AS, is currently Chairman, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission. He obtained Master's degree in Social Systems from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, and PhD in Management from Auckland University of Technology, Auckland, New Zealand. He joined Indian Audit and Account Service in 1984 and served in various capacities. He has 33 years of experience in various capacities with the Government of India, state governments, and with foreign organizations, including as Principal Advisor to the Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius. He held several positions, including Principal Accountant General Bihar and Kerala, Director Finance, Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, Chairman, NPCL Nalco Power Company Limited, Director, L&T Special Steel and Heavy Forgings Limited, and so on. He has more than 17 years of experience in power sector with the Government of India and state governments and has complete knowledge of all power sector activities, including tariff regulations, finalization of power purchase agreements, and presentation before the Tariff Regulations Committee. He is an alumni of IIM Bangalore and fellow Institute of Public Auditors of India, New Delhi. We are extremely happy and honored with your presence today, sir. I would like to extend a special welcome to our guest of honor, Sri Preman Dhanraj sir, IA&AS, for today's event. Associate Director Project VSSC, Sri M. Narayanan Namboodiripad sir, has always been a source of support and motivation for all activities of Vigilance Section in the Center. I extend a hearty welcome to Associate Director Projects VSSC, Sri M. Narayanan Namboodiripad sir, to this function. Chief Controller Dr. Biju Jacob sir, IA&AS, is also functioning as Vigilance Officer in the Center. He has identified various areas where use of information technology could bring efficiency, transparency, and accountability, and also implemented systematic improvements. He has provided immense support and guidance for organizing all events during this Vigilance Awareness Week. I extend a hearty welcome to Chief Controller Dr. Biju Jacob sir to this function. Sri S.R. Sudhakar Babu, Senior Administrative Officer, Vigilance Section VSSC, has played a key role and planned meticulously for organizing all the activities during this week. I extend a warm welcome to Sri S.R. Sudhakar Babu to this function. I also wholeheartedly welcome all the officials and staff members watching this program through virtual platforms. Once again, I extend a hearty welcome to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I invite Dr. Sharat Chandra Sharma, Associate Director R&D, VSSC, to deliver the presidential address.
Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Pevam Dinaraj, Chairman, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, Shri M. Narayan Namudripad, Associate Director Projects, VSSC, Dr. Biju Jacob, Chief Controller, VSSC, Shri B. Anil Kumar, Senior Head, Personal and General Administration, VSSC, Shri Sudhakar Babu, Senior Administrative Officer, Vigilance, VSSC, and my dear colleagues. Greetings to all of you. At the outset, I thank the organizers for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak in this very important event, that is Valedictory function of Vigilance Awareness Week 2021. Vigilance essentially concerns human resources. The main objective of any organization is growth, and this goal can be achieved not through machines or materials, but through man, through human resources. The organization grows at a faster speed when its employees are motivated. An honest environment free of any malpractices and corruption is one of the essential requirements to create such conducive working conditions for the growth of the organization. The main function of the vigilance activity is to create an environment in which the honest employee can work fearlessly with maximum efficiency. In fact, vigilance is of three types: preventive, participative, and punitive. Preventive vigilance involves studying the organization, its policies, and its people, and implementing effective measures so that they do not become vulnerable to corruption. Participative vigilance involves participation of all stakeholders and well-wishers within the organization and from outside, for example, whistleblower policy and RTI Act, etc. But it is voluntary in nature and does not put any obligation for participation. Punitive vigilance comes into picture when corruption has already been committed and punishment is granted to have curbing effects on others. As we know, punitive action is the least desirable for the growth of any individual. Same is true for the growth of any organization. Punitive action is the last resort. Such measures result in creating an environment of pessimism and passivity. Today, we understand that to enhance productivity, it is better to encourage and not to punish. We must also remember that so long as the underlying causes like human greed remains, corruption cannot be eliminated. Vigilance enables formulating such watchdogs that prevent entering this greed in areas of governance and reduce its scope. The more the punitive measures, the more will be pessimism and passivity in the organization, and lesser will be decision making. So the best approach is the preventive vigilance, that is to create an environment in the organization which discourages the people from indulging any corruption or malpractices. Activities like observing Vigilance Awareness Week go a long way in creating this type of conducive environment free of corruption and malpractices. It is indeed very pleasing to know that a very eminent personality, Shri Peman Dinaraj, who is Chairman, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, is delivering the keynote address on this very important occasion of valedictory function of the Vigilance Awareness Week 2021. A number of activities were organized in the center during this week on the theme of vigilance. I compliment the entire team for their excellent efforts in organizing various activities. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I invite Sri M. Narayanan Nambudripad, Associate Director Projects, VSSC, to deliver the felicitation address.
Respected Associate Director R&D VSSC, Dr. Sharat Chandra Sharma, Chief guest of the function, Shri Praman Dinaraj, INDAS, Chairman, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, Chief Controller VSSC, Dr. Biju Jacob, INDAS, Senior Head PGA VSSC, Shri Anil Kumar, Senior Administrative Officer Vigilance VSSC, Shri Sudhakar Babu, all other participants online, a very good afternoon to all. As all of you know, we are observing Vigilance Awareness Week from October 26th to November 1st. The birthday of Bharat Ratna Vallabhai Patel falls in this week, that is October 31st. He was a very strong leader, statesman, popularly known as Iron Man of India, or sometimes Bismarck of India. All over the world, people call him with a surname added as Sardar. He played a key role for getting the independence for our country, and he guided us for its integration into a united independent nation. He was a role model for honesty, integrity, and probity in public life. Corruption has been one of the major obstacles to economic, political, and social progress of any country. There is a need that all stakeholders like government, citizens, and private sector need to work together to eradicate corruption. So we all have to work to keep the highest standard of honesty and integrity in our day-to-day activities and in official matters. In VSSC, the Vigilance section is spearheading the Awareness Week activities. On 26th, the pledge was conducted. They have arranged different programs like quiz competition for staff members, essay competition, elocution competition for school students. I really appreciate the effort put by the team in planning the activities in an online manner so meticulously. The theme of the Awareness Week this year is Independent India at 75, Self-Reliance with Integrity. The theme is very relevant in the present situation where the country is in a transition phase. In order to come out of the weakness or the issue of retardation in various domains due to the pandemic, the government has announced many new projects, plan of actions, and programs in a campaign mode. Atmanirbhar Bharat is one in that, through which the country has to come out to a world leader stature by economic growth, infrastructure development, innovations in technology, and applying the innovation in various departments and transforming the diverse population into a vibrant demography. In space sector also, as all of you know, a lot of changes have been announced and the plan of action is being done to implement that. And a lot of opportunity is given to private players, startups, and opportunities given to academia, and a lot of importance is given to the innovations. So now we all have to adjust to the new situation and dedicate ourselves to work with the utmost honesty and integrity in all the new endeavors so that the country is made self-reliant with integrity as tall as the statue of unity of Sardar Vallabhai Patel, which is the tallest in the world. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. We are honored to have with us today Sri Preman Dinaraj, IA and AS, Chairman, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, to grace the occasion. May I invite our chief guest to deliver the keynote address.
Good morning, friends. On this happy occasion of Vigilance Week, which began on 26th of this month and extends till the 1st of November, it's time for us to introspect. It is time for us to reconsider. It is time for us to look within ourselves, not only as an individual, but also as a group in a society and as a nation as a whole, to evaluate and to see to what extent we as a nation and we as an individual has been able to progress both at our personal lives as well as at the societal level. This week, the Central Vigilance Commission has given a very interesting topic as part of the theme for the Vigilance Week. It says Independent India at 75. Very, very important. 75 years in the history of a nation is indeed a very big landmark. It specifies the progress of a nation. It specifies the development which has happened during the last 75 years. And add to that, the CVC very appropriately has said the theme will be self-reliance with integrity. Two noble concepts, two highly value-loaded concepts, two concepts which, when you look at it at the dictionary level, gives totally different meanings. Combine them together, marry them together, the concept becomes something very noble, something where the expectations vis-a-vis the realizations will be very, I would say, substantial and very significant. Let us look at the two concepts to begin with. Self-reliance. The concept of self-reliance, in fact, as a nation itself had begun, I would say, immediately following our independence. There was always a thrust to manufacture within, to have our own systems, to have our own methodologies, and to train our people in such a way that to a very, very large extent, as a nation, we would be able to stand on our own feet. We would not have to borrow too much. I would not say we would not have to borrow completely, because we live in a network world, at least at present, where the world is interdependent. We do not live in isolation. Therefore, we cannot say completely that we can afford to cut away from the rest of the world. But that also does not preclude the concept of self-reliance. It is the interest of every nation. It is the interest of every society. It is the interest of every individual, both at the individual level as well as the familial level, to be self-reliant. For example, let us take at the family level. Every family, now mostly, the concept of joint families have been breaking down, and we have now more or less come down to a setup of nuclear families, where there is a father, a mother, and children. And today, what we see is this, that the family as a societal unit is a standalone unit. Every member, to a very large extent, is able to contribute to his own requirements, needs, and maybe even at the financial levels. For example, in the case of a dual working family, where the husband as well as the wife both are working, they bring in the money required to run the family. 2, they lay down the mores, they lay down the systems they lay down the value principles which form the ethos as far as that particular family is concerned. Let us elaborate this concept at the societal level. What we find is this: yes, the values, the ethos, the mores of a society is reflected by the values, the ethos, and the mores of the individuals which constitute that society. The society's values are ultimately a culmination of the values of the individuals which constitute as members of that society. Let us now look beyond the society at the national level. Way back from the 1955 onwards, the concept of self-reliance has taken deep root within our nation. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of this country, in fact, brought about the system whereby we went in for industrialization, establishment of our own factories, our own industries, with the intent that as a nation, and as a young nation at that point of time, we should be able to stand on our own feet. Yes, we did have the support of other nations, to begin with, to a large extent, when it comes to the steel industry or the mining industry, from the Russians, as well as from a number of other friendly nations, including the United States. Look at what this industrialization has brought in. And when I speak of industry, I don't speak of industry per se. I speak of even the agriculture as a form of industry. Look at the advances that we have made as far as the agricultural sector is concerned, largely aided by the industry, especially in terms of food production, in terms of Operation Flood, and in multifarious other activities where we have progressed. And we have progressed from a food deficient nation to a food surplus nation. You would be interested to know that our current food reserves extend beyond our requirement of 2 years. And today, the granaries of the nation are overflowing. In fact, so much so that beyond procurement, because we have the minimum support price and a guarantee of procurement, especially of food grains, the issue is one of storage. But be that as it is, as a nation we have progressed and we have to a large extent become self-reliant. Let us look up self-reliance at the level of science and technology. All of you are members of the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, one of the most prominent, most significant, and I would say one of the most important at the national level institution. The efforts that we have made, and I would say the strident efforts in this regard, where we have been able to send our own rockets, put our own satellites into orbit, and the rapid strides that we have made and we are planning to make, including putting a man on the moon, and that also to a large extent with our own efforts, with the efforts of our own scientists, engineers, and of course all the supporting staff which constitute the institution of VSSC per se. I would say that to a large extent we have become self-reliant. Are we totally self-reliant? Are we significantly self-reliant? Are we able to manage all our efforts without depending upon others? Well, the answer is only to some extent. Because self-reliance does not presuppose, as I mentioned earlier, cutting away from the rest of the world. It does not begin with reinventing the wheel. It does not mean that you go back and start from your basics once again. No. We can, we should, and we must try and inculcate, if possible borrow, if possible take on the knowledge which is already available, gather from the information which is available, and build on from those building blocks. The second concept which is brought in is integrity. As I said, yes, self-reliance with integrity. My first immediate reaction was self-reliance, yes, but with integrity. Now, how do you marry these two? Where does integrity come in with self-reliance? Well, if one thinks beyond the obvious, there is a very, very strong connection. I would say an umbilical connection between self-reliance and integrity. Integrity means truthfulness. Integrity means sticking to one's principles. Integrity means having a value system which can stand the test of time. One of the fundamental principles of our society, and when I speak of the society, I speak of the various sectors which constitute the society. That can be at the family level, it can be at the social level, it can be at the corporate level, or it can even be at the state or national level. So when you speak in terms of integrity, if we lack integrity as an individual, you know what will happen at the familial level? The family will unfortunately not have the correct moorings. The family will not be able to inculcate the proper values, and the family will have its own difficulty. The same extends beyond the family to the various levels which I have already mentioned. The Central Vigilance Commission has been at the forefront of instilling, imbibing, and ensuring, the last word ensuring is very important, integrity, especially at the corporate level. I have had the good fortune of working with the Department of Atomic Energy, which is again another very, very significant and important department under the Government of India. And what I have seen, that whether it is the Department of Space, of which VSSC is a part, or the Department of Atomic Energy, where I happen to spend about more than 10 years in the Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, the level of integrity is extremely high. And this integrity is focused towards self-reliance. The members, the engineers, the scientists, everyone working within these departments are working towards self-reliance in their respective field. They are working towards self-reliance in development of technology. And let me tell you, with my experience, they have been working with extreme integrity. I have hardly come across any accusations of malpractice, of misdoings, of any wrongdoings, or somebody trying to make money on the sly. People at the entrance level itself, when they are inducted into these organizations, have been inculcated with the concept of integrity while focusing on the aspect of self-reliance. So, when you think beyond the obvious, as I mentioned earlier, self-reliance with integrity, yes, especially when one looks at some of the most important departments of the Government of India, this is very, very significant. Okay, let us look beyond the very important departments also. For example, a public sector undertaking. Even there has to be a large extent of self-reliance. We cannot keep on importing machinery. We cannot keep on deploying consultants and staff from abroad or from other organizations. It's very important for us to establish our own, I would say, self-reliance systems, whether it is in engineering, whether it is in design component, or even in a simple thing like finance or HR, wherein we will be able to develop a system which is completely self-reliant. And the very existence, the very foundation, very structural of this department or this organization will have to be built up on the core values of integrity. If there is lack of integrity at any level, be it at the highest level, the chairman and managing director, or the secretary of the department, or at the lowest level, such lack of integrity is bound to tell upon the results, is bound to tell upon the output, is bound to tell upon the very organization per se. Integrity and self-reliance are very closely interjoined. You cannot build in a self-reliant organization with lack of integrity. And if there is lack of integrity, then definitely self-reliance is bound to suffer. on this week when we are celebrating Vigilance as Vigilance Week, it's very important for us to understand, to inculcate, to imbibe, practice, and profess self-reliance with integrity. In fact, the Prime Minister at the time of COVID-19, last year in May 2020, introduced the word Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat, very noble concept. This is something which has been guiding us during these troubled times. You are all aware, the last 1 year has been a time of troubles, tribulations, and has been testing our entire, I would say, progress as a nation. But I am also happy to tell that our scientists and our pharmaceutical industry has risen to the task, and we have been able to develop our own vaccine as demonstrated by Covaxin, developed by Bharat Biotech, wherein we have been able to be self-reliant when it comes to vaccine production. You are all aware that India happens to be the vaccine factory of the world, and not only have been able to cross the 100 crore mark as far as the vaccination campaign is concerned, we have also been able to contribute to the efforts of other nations in fighting this pandemic. As a nation, we have made tremendous progress. In the group of nations, we have a very strong standing. As a group of, I would say, in the group of nations, whether it is the United Nations or at any international fora, the name of India is respected, the name of India is looked upon, and people look up to us as a nation to provide solutions when there is a requirement. I would say that self-reliance is probably the only road to true freedom. Very important word, to true freedom. If you are not self-reliant, definitely the person who is going to give you technology, the person who is going to give you scientific advancement, the person who is going to give you the drawings or the engineering support, he is definitely going to extract his pound of flesh. So, self-reliance is the only road to our true freedom, and being one's own person is ultimate reward. Being one's own person is the ultimate reward. This is a very, very important quotation. I would also like to close with a couple of more other significant quotations which I have gathered. Dare to live the life you have dreamed for yourself. I repeat the words again. Dare to live the life you have dreamed for yourself. Go forward and make your dreams come true. Go forward and make your dreams come true. And freedom comes from strength and self-reliance and not on unnecessary dependence. And here, self-reliance is not just words. It is reflected in our deeds, in our actions, in what we do, rather than in what we profess only. And we should expect more from ourselves. We should contribute more from ourselves, rather than expect more from others and expect lesser from our good selves. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one is looking. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one is looking. It specifically means that we are doing the right thing now, later, and at all times to come. This forms the essence. This forms the substance. This forms probably the thrust of the theme of CVC for this Vigilance Week, Self-Reliance with Integrity. I am grateful to PSSC, its team of officers, and especially Dr. Biju Jacob, who gave me this opportunity to come online with all of you, to share my thoughts as far as this concept of self-reliance with integrity is concerned. And I wish all of you a very, very successful, happy, and most importantly, self-reliant and with integrity week. And not only for this week, for the month, for the year, and for the rest of your lives. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. VSSC conducted essay writing and elocution competition for the students of VSSC Central School and online quiz competition for the employees of VSSC IASU on the topic Vigilance and Anti-Corruption. We now announce the winners of essay writing competition. Next, the winners of elocution competition. Next, the winners of online quiz competition. Congratulations to all winners. May I now invite Sri Sudhagara Babu, Senior Administrative Officer, Vigilance Section, to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening to all. Respected Associate Director R&D VSSC, Dr. Sharat Chandra Sharma. Today's guest of honor, Shri Preman Dinraj, IAS, Chairman of Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission. Shri M. Narayanan Namboodiripad, Associate Director Project VSSC. Dr. Biju Jacob, IAS, Chief Controller VSSC. Shri B. Anil Kumar, Senior Head PGA VSSC. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching the program through online platform. We have come to the concluding session of Vigilance Awareness Week. And on this occasion, I am delighted to get an opportunity to propose vote of thanks to the valedictory function of Vigilance Awareness Week. Though our director could not attend the function, he has given in advance his blessings and all administrative approvals for convening the program. I place on record our sincere gratitude to Director VSSC. Associate Director R&D has kindly consented to preside over the meeting. He has delivered his presidential address by emphasizing the need for maintaining preventive vigilance in the organization and thereby to attain sustainable development for the organization. I place on record our sincere gratitude to Associate Director R&D. Shri Preman Dinaraj, IAS, has kindly consented to be the chief guest for today's program. He has delivered his keynote address and pointed out the need for maintenance of integrity in public life and thereby to achieve sustainable development to the organization. I place on record our sincere gratitude to Sri Preman Dinraj IAS. I also thank Sri M. Narayanan Namboodiripad for his felicitation address. Dr. Biju Jacob, IAS, Chief Controller of VSSC, is also the Vigilance Officer of VSSC. He has been the pillar and strength in convening the program. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Senior Head PGA has always been with us by giving suggestions and all encouragements to conduct the program in a very good manner. I thank Anil Kumar sir also. I also take this opportunity to thank Srimati Parvati of GAD for Invocation and Srimati Parvati of Establishment Section for comparing the program. I also place on record the gratitude to the officials of CITG TTDG, canteen, purchase, and accounts. The staffs in Vigilance section have given tireless support for the successful completion of the program, and I place on record gratitude to the staffs of Vigilance section. I also thank the audience who are watching the program through online. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As we conclude the week-long celebrations, let us reaffirm our resolve to fight corruption to usher in a new era of a self-reliant India. Thank you.